Hey folks, it's Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, this time of Tombstone. Now I reviewed this a while ago, maybe a few years ago, because someone was nice enough to send me this Blu-ray, but I figure I'm doing a Bill Paxton marathon, and hey, he's right there on the cover, so why not? And it's a great Western, it's one of the best Westerns out there. Directed by George P. Cosmatos, who did Rambo 2, Cobra, Leviathan of Unknown Origin. Well, kinda directed. I'm not going to go into it. I'm going to put a link down below, which is a written article in which Kurt Russell did an interview explaining how that all worked out and how it seemed as if Kurt Russell really directed Tombstone and not George P. Cosmatos, and the original director, who is the writer Kevin Jarre, Jarre, not sure how to pronounce his last name. He was going to direct it, then he got shit canned, and Kurt Russell called Stallone, and Stallone said, hey, I did George P. Cosmatos. And in the interview, again, it's a written interview, it's not audio or visual. Kurt Russell tells the whole story about what happened, how it was really Kurt Russell's baby. Like what it got going. He wanted to keep this movie going when the director got fired, and in a way, yeah, Kurt Russell directed this. And if that's the case, he did a great job. But yeah, I'll put it down below for those who want to read it in the info box. The film itself, it's straightforward. It's 2 hours long, but it didn't feel long. It's a beautiful looking movie. Great cast. Kurt Russell is Wyatt Earp. He does a wonderful job. He's a badass. He has many memorable lines of dialogue. My favorite, of course, you know, the law's coming. You tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me. Val Kilmer in his best role, his best performance is Doc Holliday. He did an awesome job. Doc Holliday is a good friend of Wyatt Earp. He was dealing with tuberculosis. So he's sickly, and he looked sickly throughout the flick. But yeah, he does a great job. Just nailed it. Again, I would easily say it's his best role, his best performance. Val Kilmer did do a good job. Give him credit. You have Sam Elliott and Bill Paxton as two of Wyatt Earp's brothers. You also have Michael Biehn and Powers Boothe as some of the bad guys, as well as Stephen Lane. You have Robert Mitchum doing narration. I guess he was supposed to be in the film, but he had an accident, so he couldn't physically be in the film, but they did his narration. You have Charlton Heston. You have Billy Bob Thornton in an early role. You have John Corbett, Jason Priestley, Michael Rooker, Billy Zane. You also have Dana Delany, Joanna Pacula. You have a lot of fucking recognizable people in this flick. It's crazy. It's insane. And that's one reason why I love this film. It was like, oh, cool, there's R.J. McCready and Hicks, Dwayne Hicks in the same scene, the same movie. There's Iceman, and there's, Powers Boothe, and Michael Rooker. And, again, fantastic cast. It's never boring. It never slows down. Only one little nitpick which I'll get to, but other than that, it's just the reason it's one of my favorite westerns, not only because of the cast, but it's just a badass action movie. Practical squibs, characters who are likable and kick ass and take names, bad guys you really want to hate. I mean, the beginning of the film, they shoot up this wedding because just some of them killed two of their men. And Michael Biehn, he doesn't give a shit as Johnny Ringo. He doesn't give a fuck. He just shoots the priest right in the face. He has some memorable lines of dialogue. For example, when Caruso gets into town because Wyatt Earp and his brothers and family, they want to live a quiet life here. And someone tosses him and he goes, I already have a guilty conscience. Might as well have some money too with it. You might as well have the money too. Yeah, Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday playing cards with Frank Stallone. Yes, Frank Stallone, Sly's brother. Take it back. Who gets stabbed and by Val Kilmer after he fucks with him on cards. Billy Bob Thornton as this asshole dealer. So that Billy Bob Thornton way of swearing, you nerve-wracking sons of bitches. And Kurt Russell gives him the Snake Plissken eyes, the well, eye, but gives him those eyes where he just, with his head, manhandles Billy Bob Thornton. And it's weird seeing an early Billy Bob Thornton, what he goes on to see him this sort of early role where he just gets slapped in the face by Kurt Russell like 2-3 times. I said, throw down, boy. You don't do something? You don't stand there? What was it? You don't do something? Or just stand there and bleed? I'm like, Kurt Russell's a guy you don't want to fuck with. And Bill Bob Thornton gets his ass thrown out. I like the relationship between Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer. They have a fun relationship. For example, there's a higher up in town, and Kurt Russell goes, "Hey, have you met Doc Holliday?" And under his breath, he goes, "Piss on you, Wyatt." I like that relationship. Yeah, Billy Zane and this woman who's an actress, they're part of a theater, join up. The one part wasn't the most interested in is when Kurt Russell's character is with pretty much his wife or girlfriend, who I think she's sort of addicted to laudanum. Not sure if I said that right. But Kurt Russell goes for this actress lady and a little bit lovey-dovey stuff. And the acting's not the problem. It's just, first I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. Aren't you with someone else? People say, well, this is based on a true story. I don't think they're going to be showing Tombstone in history class about the days and times of Wyatt Earp. I don't know, maybe they would. Show it, just for being a good fucking movie, maybe they should. But it's just, I can't say I was the most interested in that little relationship between Kurt Russell and, I forgot the actress's name already. But it didn't hurt the film. It's just something that wasn't for me. But not before long, they meet Powers Boothe and Stephen Lane and Michael Biehn as the bad guys. I like the back and forth goading between Michael Biehn and Val Kilmer. They're even speaking to each other in Latin. Powers Boothe gets drunk one night and he's shooting at the moon, and he shoots the marshal. And Terry O'Quinn, I'm like, hey, I remember you in Young Guns, that western. He comes in, he's like the mayor, and he sort of he makes a little speech with Sam Elliott. He decides to make the choice of, hey, there needs to be some law and order in this town. And he convinces Bill Paxton, and ultimately they convince Val Kilmer and Kurt Russell, and that's where you get the gunfight at the OK Corral. Well done action, good blood squibs, good editing, understood what was going on, understood where everyone was at, understood the environment where people were placed. It wasn't confusing. Oh, one of the bad guys is also Thomas Hayden Church, and he gets killed. And yeah, they kick ass, they take names. And yeah, that great moment where they're going to town, marching through the town as people look on and they're just heading for battle. And nice gunfight. And that's where the bad guys want retribution. Michael Biehn as Johnny Ringo, I think he does a really good job in this. It's like, I want your blood and I want your souls. And later on, they ambush Sam Elliott and fuck up his arm. They shoot Bill Paxton in the back, which, that's one thing about this marathon that's tough. I keep seeing Bill Paxton die, because he dies in almost every fucking movie he's in. Maybe that's one reason I don't mind a film that came out the same year, Monolith, which I didn't mention in that review, because he didn't die. I'm like, yes. He didn't die in this movie. You get a pass. But I mean, I still love the movie, and that bit I understand with history. And but yeah, Bill Paxton, the little bit that he has, he still did a good job in the flick. Gonna miss that guy. Bill Paxton's a great actor. Even with a small role, he can make something out of it. And that's where Sam Elliott goes home with his fucked up arm. Bill Paxton passes away. So Val Kilmer, Kurt Russell, some other people, including Michael Rooker, joins him. Kurt Russell steers the shit out of Steve Lane, goes, "You tell him the law's coming, you tell him I'm coming, and hell's coming with me." And it's a montage of those guys going ape shit, killing a lot of motherfuckers, a lot of bad guys on horseback in this room, and a lot of. You don't fuck with these guys. I mean, you don't fuck with Snake Plissken, and you don't fuck with Kurt Russell's Wyatt Earp. You fuck with his family, he shoves a shotgun up your ass. Not literally, but figuratively speaking. And even to a point where they're by this river, and Kurt Russell just keeps saying, "No, no," and people are shooting at him. He don't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck if he dies. He just comes with a shotgun. No, blows a big old hole in Power's Boothe, shooting people. Then Val Kilmer comes in shooting people all across the river. And Kurt Russell don't give a fuck. And I'm a big Kurt Russell fan. He's great. He's great in this movie. One of his best roles. In the finale, Michael Biehn, Val Kilmer have their showdown. I love the line, "Oh, I'm your Huckleberry," Val says to Michael Biehn. And they have this draw, and boom, pops Michael Biehn right in the head. Nice squib, nice effect. They have their last charge of what they call Wyatt Earp and his immortals. Shooting guys on horseback, squibs. Kurt Russell's Wyatt Earp does a little maneuver on horseback, getting underneath and shooting the guy. Then pretty much the movie wraps up. They've done their deed. Wyatt Earp says goodbye to Doc Holliday in a very well acted scene. Kurt Russell finds that actress, and he pretty much says, "I can't offer much, but I'll love you for the rest of your life." And then Robert Mitchum has this nice narration about how they were together for over 40 years. Tombstone Tombstone is one of those westerns that even if you don't like westerns, you'll enjoy Tombstone. Because it's that straightforward enough. It has a great, fantastic ensemble cast, some really good acting, memorable lines of dialogue, great moments of badassery from the cast, especially Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer. The score by Bruce Broughton fit the film well. It's R-rated. It doesn't pussy out on that. When some, as it says here, strong Western violence. That's true. And I did not see the Kevin Costner Wyatt Earp movie, but this seems like a much longer film that, for what I read up on, people said it wasn't as tightly paced as a film like this. And that's the thing. Yeah, I don't care for the little lovey-dovey between Caruso and the actress and the theater group, but it didn't really hurt the film. Even at 2 hours, over 2 hours, it's still not that boring of a movie. Tombstone, it's one of those films that speaks for itself. If you like westerns, you should see this already. You should have seen it already. Even if you do not like westerns, I'm not a big western guy. I'm fine when you mix it with sci-fi, for example, Outland, which is high noon but in outer space. And there are some westerns I enjoy. I enjoy Quigley Down Under with Tom Selleck. I enjoy Young Guns, the first one. I enjoy High Plains Drifter and the Man with No Name trilogy. And there's a few others, but I'm not Cowboys and Aliens. Again, when you merge with sci-fi, but just traditional westerns. There's some I do enjoy, like the ones I mentioned. But am I a big John Wayne fan? No, not really. Are there some Clint Eastwood film westerns I'm not a big fan of? Well, if I think about, probably. Although again, I really enjoy High Plains Drifter and the Man with No Name trilogy. Pale Rider was there compared to some of his others. But yeah, I didn't easily. This is easily one of the best westerns, and definitely one of my favorite westerns. My favorite western, it's always going to be Young Guns. That's a personal favorite of mine. That was one I grew up with ever since I was a kid, and I love the first Young Guns. That's always going to be a personal favorite of mine. But this is up there. If people asked, I'm not a big fan of Unforgiven. I respect Unforgiven. It has some really good acting. It's just if I want a Clint Eastwood Western, I prefer High Plains Drifter, which I like much more, or the Man with No Name trilogy. That's just me, or a film like this or such. But I don't hate Unforgiven. It's just I prefer other stuff. I'm not a big fan of Unforgiven. But anyway, Bill Paxton, again, he doesn't have much to do, but when he's there, you know what? Honestly, it's just always a pleasure to see him. It always has been. I've always been a big fan of Bill Paxton. And he works fine in the ensemble cast. It's definitely Corral and Val Kilmer's movie, and they do a great job. But Bill Paxton, Sam Elliott, Michael Biehn, Powers Boothe, Michael Rooker, again, just a great cast. I've said it like 10 times now, but it deserves to be said. But thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.